What is going on, my homies? My name is LeoCoys, the Mile High Hotspur, and we are going to begin into some Rapids chat this evening. Hope everybody is doing good, whether you're watching this either live or on playback. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're doing well. Decided to do like a midweek stream, a midweek update, if you will. Basically, the reason I wanted to do tonight's stream is because I've talked a lot about how I feel about the majority of our first team players. And we've actually had a lot of impact from some of our substitutes and some of what you would call, your squad players. Your I don't really want to deem them second string players because that's not really the case. That's not really the case on this team. Uh, I just feel that, we definitely have our starting lineup and we have the players that we kind of feel will get the starting nod. But there's also some players that are doing tons of work behind the scenes. And by that, I mean, players like Omir Fernandez. We've seen Calvin Harris get himself a goal this season. We also have seen, some good performances from Ian Murphy, who has, that's why I said not necessarily just substitutes, but players that are in and amongst that first team, the starting lineup. And we've even seen Connor Ronan step in and play when he's been called upon. Now that he's injured, though, he is on the sidelines. But that is another one of these players that, you know, not to be considered a backup player. He's another entity to this starting lineup, right? And right now, him being injured, he's not getting any game time, but that'll change when he comes back. So I want to talk a little bit in this episode about players like that. Players like I just said. We even have Wayne Frederick, who got some minutes due to the circumstances. And let's just keep it real, my homies. It's a long season. We may end up in a predicament again where we're going to need to call upon some of these players that are not getting game time, game in and game out, but will need to be up to speed. Players like who else can we throw in there? We're also going to see, you know, the implementation of new players like Cudi Pietro. Let's actually that's where I think a perfect way to start today's stream off will be by going and checking out our squad and seeing exactly what it is that we have to work with, my homies. Sipping on the espresso. Let's go. Shout out to all the coffee sippers. Shout out to the coffee company. All right, I'm gonna see. Let's pull up our squad here, my homies. So on the right hand side here, of course, off the bat, are top players, and these are going to be the majority of them first team players. I even forgot to mention a player like Sammy Vines, who's going to be coming back anytime soon. Now, I think in today's media availability with Chris Armas, I think he even said that this is second full week training. So expect to see some minutes for Sam Vines. I'm interested to see where he's going to slot in. I know he's going to play on the left, but I meant like I'm interested to see how he's going to gel with this team. Considering we've had some good performances on the left-hand side there by Keegan Rosenberry, by Ian Murphy, um, and by Reggie Cannon. So, um, is he going to be guaranteed minutes? Okay, let's go down to our squad. We'll do a list view. We'll do a list view just so that they're more, or let me see here. Let me see here. A box view. Okay, so we have players up top. The one that we've seen so far, and I know usually when we start off these type of streams, we go from Zach Steffen or the goalkeeper position up to the top. Um, let's go, little homie. Jared, how you doing, my homie? Bam. Yo, bro, I've actually so I snapped that picture, homie. I ended up using it in the video that I made. Um, Cannon seems out. I did see that Cannon. I heard is still day to day. And I think I'm just going to assume that he's going to be out. I'm going to do a stream on Friday night after I see more of the stuff that comes out with the team. And then after that, I'll be able to I want to do like a predicted lineup and kind of just a more preview towards the Whitecaps game. So yeah, Saw, big up. Yeah, good to see you too, my homie. Big yourself up, bro. Big yourself up. Big up. Let's go. So, like I was saying, I like to start these shows off usually from the back up forward, but it makes sense to kind of go from the top down on this in this case because um, I want to see players like Darren Yapi, Kamani Stewart-Baines, and now Alex Harris as well is getting a sniff at maybe some first team action. So out of these players, I'm not even gonna lie, my homies. I have to do my studying on them because for example, Darren Yapi, I seen what he has to offer last season, and don't get me wrong, I'm excited to see him this season as well. I'm interested to see if he's grown football wise with the experience of getting some game time last season. And well, let's just start there with Darren Yapi. We're gonna pull up Darren Yapi right here. It says here he's got no outstanding strengths, no outstanding weaknesses. Looks like he's just an out and out striker. Um, his last 12 months, his form isn't necessarily that bad, but it's not anywhere near where we could say good form, my homies. So yeah, Darren Yapi, I think, has a lot to prove, as does Kamani Stewart-Baines. Look, we're bringing in different players like we did with Alex Harris. Not too sure where Sam Bassett plays, but there's also newer players that are going to be, brought into this system. And if I'm Darren Yapi, I'm going to feel like if I'm kind of the more experienced, not so much you know, he's got already some experience under his belt, even in Rapids too. When he plays, I feel like he needs to be showing some sort of leadership role in that aspect. And I hope that translates to, this MLS season where we're expecting these type of youngster players where he's kind of like the older of these youngster players. I think a lot of our expectations for Darren Yapi and patience as well might wear thin this season because like I said last season, he really didn't do it for me, and he's got a lot to prove this season. And like I said, again, holding the flag for what is to be kind of like the next generation, if you will. You know what I mean? Like the next chapter of the Rapids team of the squad, I guess, if that makes any sense, my homies. This season hasn't done much. Played 2 matches, but has only played 15 minutes. Again, has not played much. And I think this is due to the fact that he is coming back from an injury himself. So I'm hoping that maybe with some rhythm, we can get to see some good performances from Darren Yapi. This is going to be his heat map from last season. Over here on the right hand side here, you see he played 33 games last season, started 5 of them, but averaged about 25 minutes a game. So the majority of his appearances were off of the bench playing, the last third of the game. And what he got, okay, so he got 2 goals. I was going to say, I think he got 1 goal last season. He did get 2 goals. Um, a goal conversion of 14%. So yeah, Darren Yapi has to definitely step it up this year, my homies. I think, like I mentioned earlier, the patience is wearing thin for a player like Darren Yapi. But, he has been coming on a couple of times this season. So that only makes me think, is it because, that's the only available option? Or is it because, it is about that time to start getting him some of those minutes? So Darren Yapi, let's move over to Kamani Stewart Baines. Again, a 20-year-old. So I'm assuming, I would expect him to be with Yapi and being kind of a leader to that younger squad of kids that is coming in. Let's see here. I'm just gonna pull up his stats from last season. I think this season's stats are really irrelevant. Um, Okay, never mind, my homies. Saw our last season stats. He played 13 games, didn't start any of them, but only and would average about 13 minutes a game. So not much to go off of from here as well. 163 minutes. Um, so this is why I kind of wanted to do a type of stream like this because I don't I don't ever really see Yappy needs minutes to develop. Of course, yeah, he really does, my homie. He really does. And then I'm looking at players like Kamani Stewart Baines right here at the heat map, and just kind of looking at the stats from him last season, and I'm thinking, um, are we just that comfortable with our starting setup that these kids are not going to get that much game time? Is it something that we're going to just wait until it's needed to call these youngsters up? Again, we've seen Hoffel play. I want to. I mean, off the top of my head, I want to say maybe probably the whole every match, every game, every minute of every match. Sorry, my homies. I thought I was gonna sneeze, but I couldn't. I couldn't sneeze. Um, I'm really curious as to how it is we're going to be able to supplement, um, the play of Hoffa Navarro. How are we going to be able to help him out? How are we going to be able to give him, an outlet sometimes when he needs to come off tired? Because I praise Lyrical on Hoffa Navarro just about every stream. How I feel he's one of our biggest assets on our team. One of the most. He works the most on the ball and off the ball. His hold up play is phenomenal. His off the ball play is honestly probably the best on the team. His pressing for me is where we start our defense and attack is with him. So he's gonna get wore out. He's gonna get wore out. So Kimani Stewart Baines, Darren Yapi, and of course the new youngster Alex Harris are gonna all have to be able to uh step it up when they're called upon, my homies. That's just the reality of it. He's Jared says Rafa is the only real striker we have. Yappy isn't there yet, so even tired, he's better than anyone else. Look, and that just is that is just the case right now, my homies. You know what I mean? Which is why even last season, Hoffa played the majority of the minutes. The dude's a horse, man. The dude's a workhorse. So These players that are going to want to get any minutes need to be performing good. See, these are all youngsters here. No outstanding strengths, no outstanding weaknesses. Alex Harris, no stats really that we could pull up for Alex Harris unless I probably go and look from somewhere else. But um, we need a second half striker we can sub in. Yeah, I really think we do, bro. And I think I now that I kind of now that I'm thinking about it, KTK, it's kind of it's I see some similar I see some kind of glaring obviouses in the fact that now we see a lot of Georgie and Hoffa playing you know, almost in that 4-4-2, that double striker where they kind of complement each other. And maybe we're doing that on purpose to kind of, subsidize the wear and tear on Hoffa because there's times where, I show in some of these heat maps after the matches where Hoffa and Georgie, they play very, very close together. And even if the formation was to be like a 4-2-3-1, you're even talking about Georgi Mihailovic being right there next to where Hoffa likes to play. So I think if we're going to keep that in mind, I guess not necessarily for me, not the second half sub, which we definitely need. But maybe that's why we're seeing a bit of Georgi Mihailovic playing next to him because I'm a fan of like the 4-4-2. I just feel like it's kind of it just takes me back to like when I started watching Premier League football. A lot of the formations were 4-4-2, and a lot of teams played with that double striker up top. And if we can kind of hybrid that into our system, then I'm all for it because we're obviously seeing a trend where Hoffa is just going to get gassed every game. Yo, my homie, I'm here. It's 3:13 a.m. I had my job interview earlier. It went well. Let's fucking go, Kellum. Let's fucking go. Thank you for joining the stream, my homie. Big yourself up every time, Kellum. So yeah, I think for some of these youngsters here and some of these newer players, time is just going to be the biggest factor for these players. The Rapids have done a good job in bringing in these players. Um, before I was planning the stream somewhat, I thought, what are some talking points that I can kind of address? And one that kind of caveats all the shit that I was really thinking about earlier was, the Rapids have just lately, and I'm gonna pick them up because it is we do need to, you know, put some respect on it when it's due. They've done a good job of getting some players through the door, players that are going to benefit our team, players that are going to, be good apples, players that that have bought into the system. You see players like Cheeto, players like Ian Murphy that have come into a new system because I was actually I wanted to talk about Ian Murphy later on and just how we're doing good scouting. It's that's just obvious. We're doing good scouting. We're bringing in, the players that, I want to say Chris Armas is, okaying and saying, yo, bring me these players in. Even Josh Atencio, a player that came in that, a steal, a fucking steal of, we got him from, a Western Conference rival, and he's picking up minutes, massive minutes, for our team. And if he was still at their team, he'd probably be on the bench. So it's crazy how the Rapids are just able to see this shit and bring the players in for our system. And then, we see here, I'm loving Ian when he plays, we get clean sheets. That's fucking right, bro, because we're bringing in a good set of well-minded players. I want to believe, and it's not just me waffling. It's facts. It's showing. It's translating to on the pitch right now. You know what I mean? Josh Atencio came into the squad. Um, Josh Atencio came into the squad and eager to play. And I think he started like the next game, our opening game at St. Louis. He played. He played. Right, so he was getting minutes off the bat, and I think even Ian Murphy played that game. Cheeto played that game. So you're talking about players that walk into our starting lineup, right? So if we're going to be able to do that type of movement for our players that are, and I want to call them maybe fringe players, if that's the right word. I want to use fringe players. Always got to show you love, bro. I should get a call later saying if I got it or not. Bro, you know what? You will get a good call. I'm telling you, my homie. If you were you in the interview, you got the job, my homie. 442 brings old Prem vibes. Exactly right. Exactly right. I like that type of football. And I think if, the way we're playing right now, complementing both Rafa with Mihailovic and Georgie with Rafa, it's a good combo. But like I was saying about our recruiting, I don't really know much about what goes on with that, my homie. I really don't. But I'm just kind of seeing it as a fan, as what I see. And I know on Instagram today on the homie what is the Rapids corner, I seen can I- Bryce Jameson. We're was it that we're linked with him or something like that? Let's see here. How's everybody doing, my homies? If you haven't already, would you please like the stream? It definitely will help get the video into the algorithm, and maybe more people that want to see MLS type content, or even better yet, Colorado Rapids content could come here to find it. So this is a post that I seen earlier from Rapids Corner on Instagram. According to Tom Boger, we are finalizing a deal to sign U.S. Youth national team winger Bryce Jameson from Orange County SC. This has been a rumor for a while now and seems to have become official. Jameson will remain on loan to Orange County SC for the rest of the 25 season, but will provide an exciting project for the club in the coming years. So I wanted to. That is kind of where I started thinking about earlier about our recruiting and stuff like that. Um, it just got me thinking, like, look, we know we're really short, we're thin, I guess I should say, up top, and if we're gonna try and make some movements like that, this type of rumor for me is definitely a positive sign in that direction. I know this is Rapids life, but what's your prediction against Chelsea? I fucking hate Chelsea. I fucking hate Chelsea. Um, I think it's gonna be a tough battle at the bridge, like fucking always. But I think we got it, my homies. I think if we play our ball the way we really want to and not let any goals we don't concede, uh, then I think we can walk away there with the result, my homie. Of course, we're gonna win 4-0. How was me? I kept my smile on my face, told them what they needed to hear, so I did my best. Let's go. My day's been up and down through a breakup, but that ain't gonna keep me on a shitty path. I got cheated on. Oh man. Everybody, let's say, Kellum, you just gotta go through life, my homie. You just gotta go through life, bro. It sucks. He looks like you, Dogie. Yes, he does. He does, doesn't he? So look, Bryce Jamison looks to be obviously a youth talent coming up in Orange County SC, which I'm not the biggest. I don't know much about other leagues here in the United States, but Orange County SC has a big following. They are somewhat of a bigger team in the league. I would assume from what I see off of the socials. Yes, let's go. Fucking hate Chelsea. My homies. Yes, Premier League football has been back, which is it's been fun to watch. Um, but I'm not gonna lie, my homies. I've been enjoying doing the rapid stuff. I've been enjoying doing the rapid stuff. Let's get back into this. Not I really don't have much I could say on Alex Harris besides the fact that like I'm interested and I'm stoked on I think he was even I think he was even on the bench for our last game. So he's there. Like he's gonna be getting some minutes. I think we're going to move down a bit now with what did I do with that? I'm sorry, my homies. Bear with me, my homies. All right. Does the Rapids have to play Messi's team? This year we do not play Inter Miami. I know last year the Rapids did travel to Miami and play them. However, we can still play Inter Miami. I'm assuming probably like in Leagues Cup action, which will be I think in August, and then of course, if we make it into the playoffs, we could potentially meet a team like them in the final. It would have to be. But why not the fucking Rapids, my homies? Why not the fucking Rapids? Um, the homie Kellum says, "Where is the Rapids expected to finish?" Look, my homie, if I'm going to be a neutral, maybe if I'm going to be somebody that is just looking from the outside in, I would be honest with you, and I would say the Rapids have a lot to do to become, the best team in the league. That's fact. However, on their day, the Rapids can beat anybody in the league, and I'm pretty positive of that, especially if we're playing here at home, which, it does play a huge factor. So if I'm gonna just be modest and keep it real with you, I would say we're probably, and I haven't looked at this, but we're probably favored to finish probably anywhere from what, sixth to ninth. Uh, is that a fair now you're asking me where do I expect to finish? Where would I feel like we could finish? Another Tottenham, there you go. Yeah, especially another Spurs, my homie, another Spurs team, yes. um Look, in the MLS, you just got to make it. I want to say what, to eighth place or something like that, and you make it into the playoffs. I could be wrong. It could be ninth or tenth. So you don't necessarily have to finish in first place. You just need to be there when it comes time to tango, and you need to have your dancing shoes on when it comes time to go to the ball, because that's when it comes important. That's when basically uh, it's anybody's game at that point. After the final, after the regular season ends, right? If the regular season ends, it's a whole new league come playoff time. A whole new league come playoff times. Expectations are we are in sixth to ninth. If we keep this form, we are a top five. Exactly right. And then that's just being real. You know what I mean? That's not being optimistic, pessimistic. That's just being, this we can finish anywhere there. If we keep this form, the MLS season, what I'm starting to see is it's a tough league, right? This is my second full season watching MLS, right? And it's not even the full season yet. So this is I'm starting my second season fully like invested in watching the MLS. So it's becoming a tougher league. it's becoming a tougher league. So, and I said this on my past stream. I kind of feel like I said I felt like the Western Conference was a bit harder than the Eastern, and then I started seeing some of the heavyweights on that side of the table. So it's not an easy league anymore. I know people from all over the world that may watch this will say it's kind of an easy league, maybe a retirement league, and you know. I'm starting to realize that that's not really the case. I see the teams play. You know, we just had Wilfred Zaha here in the Mile High City, along with Dean Smith, an ex Burnley, an ex Leicester coach. You know, we had the Neville. I don't know which of the Nevilles, but you know, coaches a team here in Portland. So there's tons of there's tons of players that are here now that are relevant. There's tons of coaches that are here that are, you know, that are relevant as well. So um the real expectation is that any one of these teams, honestly, that can and should be fighting for any type of silverware will be. That's the expectation. So we don't want to get left behind. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying. The Rapids have been doing a good job in bringing in um where where did I hear this from? I don't know if it was on Pitcast or I don't know if it was on the Rapids actual uh podcast, but you know, we've brought in some of these players that, you know, kind of sort of may have been looking for a second chance, a second crack at it, you know what I mean? Players like Stefan who've come from Europe, you know, a Manchester City academy, not academy, but a Manchester City product, maybe academy, I don't know, but coming from Manchester City, players like Sammy Vines who have been to Europe, players like Cole Bassett who have been to Europe, players, you know, Georgi Mihailovic who played in Europe, who now has something to prove playing for the Rapids. So and then top it off with the manager who is fucking gung ho about proving himself to everybody as well too, because Coach Armas is a fucking he's just as dedicated as anyone else, you know, like it starts with him. And so for me, my expectations are if we attack every game the way I know that we can, then we're gonna slug it out with the best of them, my homies. I love football talk. It's different to what I know though, because in the Prem, if you're bottom three relegated, I don't know how the league is. Yeah, so here there is no relegation. I think that the MLS would benefit from that. I know the other leagues in the United States are doing something like that now, but yeah, you know, the football scene in the US is a crazy thing. It's different leagues actually, you know what I mean? Not like in where you're at, Callum, where you have, you know, tons of tiers, and you can literally be down here and work yourself to the top. Here it's not like that. The Western Conference are more evenly matched. The East has better teams, but bottom teams are trash. Okay. So in the West is going to be probably more contested as to where you're going to get those big heavyweights in the East. But that's just about it. Something to prove FC. This is honestly how this is what it is, you know. And I said it. Players like Georgi Mihailovic, something to prove. Something to prove. Zach Steffen getting snubbed out for the national team place to a Guna reject. Something to prove, my homies. Sorry to keep bringing Tottenham up and messing the Rapids vibe up. Did you see Sporting are looking to sign Romero? Honestly, man, I feel like Romero is he's not even there for us, man. He's his heart's not there. There are like 7 to 9 leagues here, and see that's what I'm saying, bro. Like I love that part of the football pyramid in the UK, in England, where you're at. You know, we could benefit from something like that. But yeah, let's get back into what is any if you guys have any questions, there's a couple of us in the chat. If anybody has any type of questions or anything like that, feel free to drop them in. Again, I know I kind of don't have a structure to what I'm doing with this stream, but I mean, we're just gonna keep cruising with it. We're just gonna keep cruising with it. Um, where were we at here, my homies? Okay. So this here it gets a bit more congested. This is where I really wanted to focus the majority of the stream on is our midfield players, our right mids, left mids, center mids, because we have a plethora of midfield options. Sorry, excuse me. We have a fair amount of midfield options, and it's a good problem to have if you're Chris Armas. I'm not complaining about it. My hometown are in League Two or League One, so they're shit. What would that be, bro? Would that be not Northampton? Northampton? I'm excited to see what we can do when we are healthy. And that's just it, my homie KTK. We do have some injuries. Some are coming back. I did see Chris Armas talking about some of the players that were going to be coming back sooner rather than later. And it's good to get those players back. So just off the bat here, I do want to talk about first and foremost, Connor Ronan, one of the players who will be coming back hopefully sooner. Picked up an appendicitis. Had to get what his appendix removed. Is that what that is? Not football injury, but definitely got the injury. You see, these last two matches was out. For me, I am a huge fan of what Connor Ronan has to offer. Let's go. Let's just kind of run down what he brings. 27 years old, so he brings some experience. Also played in Europe as well. Something to prove. An ex-Wolverhampton player, an Ireland international. Let's see here. High pressing, of course. The Rapids like to play that mid block high pressing as well. So we like to look for players like Connor Ronan. I feel like if we're going to be playing our system, attributes like that and playmaking, of course. I've likened him to, and I know this isn't the best comparison, my homies, especially for anybody that will really get it. But I've coined him the Rapids Harry Winks, just because I feel like he looks a lot like Harry Winks, and for me, Winks in his day was a saucy baller, and I feel like Connor Ronan is techie. I don't ever really notice how techie some of these players are. Oliver Larraz, another player that has impressed me with his with the way he's able to use his feet. Connor Ronan, a very good player, a good passer of the ball, a very excellent pinger of the ball, if that is an adjective. Um, let's kind of this is where we could definitely get a good visual of what Connor Ronan will bring to our team, because he did get a good amount of minutes last season. If I look at that, lovely. I like to see this right here, my homies. You can see how I'm becoming somewhat of a stat nerd, right? I'm getting into being able to see stuff like this, and even like different type on FB reference and football transfer market. I'm becoming somewhat of a nerd for these type of stats and this type of stuff. Yeah, I'm off to bed, homie. It's got a busy day. Stay safe. We'll message you later, bro. My homie, big yourself up, Kellum. Get some rest, you filthy animal. Midfield is definitely stacked, but we have to see movement there. Too many keep. Too many to keep. Is that what you're saying, bro? And look, you're right. It may be a case of we just have too many chefs in the kitchen. And yeah, Northampton. Yeah, see, I know my geography a bit out there in the motherland, my homie. Nice. Okay, so let's see. Like I was saying, for me, I think Connor Ronan definitely is going to be a key component to our system. I think even I know plenty of times Cole Bassett gets a lot of stick from me, from me in particular, but I feel like a player like Connor Ronan has the minerals to challenge, to compete with a player like Cole Bassett for his position, whether that's a CDM in a double pivot where we've seen um, him and where we've seen Cole Bassett and Josh Atencio play last game. I feel if that's the case, we've seen it last season a lot, playing the double pivot, Connor Ronan, Cole Bassett. This season for me, if we're gonna see Josh Atencio in that spot and he's gonna have a partner there as a double six, I am 1000% okay with it being a player like Connor Ronan. And then look at it even this way, my homies. Let's say Connor Ronan is one of these players who is going to be, getting the second hand minutes coming in, as a substitute. The drop off is not even big there from him to Cole Bassett, if there even is any. Like I said, in fact, it could even be the opposite way around. If Cole Bassett is getting a rest for a couple games, where he's the one coming off the bench and replacing a player like Connor Ronan, that's totally okay. Because for me, I feel like Connor Ronan adds a lot to our midfield, and then you team him up with a player like Josh Atencio, who I feel like they're very similar, right? And I know you kind of you don't want to overfill the midfield with a lot of similar players, but I say that in the fact that they can both offer the same thing, both defensively and offensively. So if one's doing this one, I'm fairly confident that the other one will be doing the opposite thing. It's a good problem to have. A good problem to have. If I'm Armis, I feel. But I'm with you. I'm with you, KTK. It could be too many to keep. Let's kind of look at what Connor Ronan did for us last season, playing 28 matches. Again, last season he did go through an injury as well. I don't remember the full extent of it because it was early on. If I can remember correctly, but he ended up getting more. He ended up, you know, picking up some good minutes. 28 played, 23 that he started, 71 minutes a game. So we see this a lot with Chris Armas. 70th minute, 69th minute, even 60th minute. Get the substitutions going. One goal for us last season, which I'm not really expecting him to have, you know, braces every game. But of course, Connor Ronan does offer a long shot. He does offer that potential. And of course, if you're going to be playing these long shots, you have a poacher like Rafa Navarro, who is always waiting to pick up on those and score goals. Or even players like Cole Bassett, players that know to get in there for a second chance sniff. And it all starts from, just having a pop. Getting around the box everywhere. You see, he's not afraid to get around the box, around the whole field, and that's what I like to see from that double six, or even if it's just the lone six. I'm pretty sure come this time next season we'll be talking about the same thing with Josh Atencio in the same role. Um, let's see here. This is what I'm interested to see his passing. I want to say he's probably going to be a very accurate passer. So again, one assist, three big chances created, about 70 touches per game is what he's averaging. And from the looks of it, as I've been seeing our heat maps throughout this season and seeing how many touches some of our players are actually getting on the ball throughout the game, 70 touches for a Rapids player is is a comfortable, hefty amount. He's in the game. He's in the game. Connor Ronan is EA. He's fucking there. Um, let's see here. So, like I said, I would assume this was always going to be his accuracy, of course, 86%. Just You don't want to have a ball playing midfielder that can't pass the ball. Look at accuracy and own pass, 92%. Um, long balls, 51%. So, that's every other long ball that he's trying is landing. Those are good numbers for me, my homies. Those are good numbers. Um, Accuracy with chipped passes. So, like I said earlier, not afraid to ping the ball. And this is one of those, 2.2 a game. Um, and let's see what he offers defending. I'm inclined to say we're gonna see some interceptions here, maybe. Yeah, so an interception a game. Um, Tackling, balls recovered. So look at that key winning a ball winning midfielder. I'm looking for Connor Ronan to get some good minutes this season, my homies. This is going to be a breakout season for Connor Ronan. I feel like it says here he prefers to play with his right foot. What else? Yeah, Connor Ronan, my homies. Your thoughts on Connor Ronan? I feel like he's due for a breakout season. Uh, all right, let's see here. So Connor Ronan will be probably the first one called up to be getting minutes. Let's talk about Theodore Petro. I don't know much about him, my homies. Let's give it maybe a month and a half where if we get any performances from him, and we will come back and do like a part two of this to see where these players are at. We haven't seen much from Ali. We haven't seen anything from Ali Fadal. So it's kind of unfair for me to try and give any assessment. Samuel Bassett as well, Amadou as well, Wayne Frederick. We had the one performance from him. Um, like I said, was it just circumstantial appearance? He just was the one that had to get the nod. But let's look at Josh Atencio just a little bit. I know he's been getting the majority of the minutes and he's not um really part of like this substitute package, if you will. But I just want to take a look at what he offered Seattle last season. He played 24 games, started half of those, about half a game, 46 minutes played. So he played just half a game. Just gonna run down his defending a bit to see what happens. Ball recovered, tackles and interceptions. So, um, kind of with Josh Atencio, I've seen what I like from him. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to check out his stats from last season to see what he kind of was going to offer. I want to talk about Omir Fernandez and Calvin Harris, being as they're the first. And I said this last stream. They're what's kind of like a package, right? Are they going to be like a let's see, Kate Cudi Petro will be a game changer. And see, I don't know much about this KTK, so I can't really say that. Like I said, I'm hoping that we get to see some game time from him. Has more quality and talent than any of our current wingers. Let's go! I like to see that. I like to see that. Um, let's see. I want to talk about how Omir Fernandez and him and Calvin Harris have been typically the first players that Chris Armas goes to call upon. And let's kind of just talk about what we've seen so far this season with Omir Fernandez. Again, very, very light heat map. Why? Because he's been getting substitute minutes. He's been getting substitute minutes, 6 appearances. So each one of his appearances has been off of the bench, playing about 20 minutes, 21 minutes a game. Attacking here, 0 goals. He's got some assists though. He has to have some assists. That will be in. We're just gonna skip the attacking because he hasn't done much attacking. I talked last stream how um we're building up a lot on the left hand side of the pitch of our attack, and this is where Omir Fernandez comes on the pitch and applies his trade is on the left hand side. Uh and last game got an assist, second assist on the season. Um Two big chances created, 1.2 key passes per game. Um, Crossing almost 50%. He's at 40. But look, for the small sample size that Omir Fernandez has been given, he's really taken the bull by the horns and tried to make his case for starting. Now, I think for him, he's probably got the hardest. How could I say this? Depending on how we decide to play, because for a minute there when we were doing the 4-3-3, out on the left hand side, on the left hand side. Our left mid was Oliver Larraz, and then up front on the left attack was Georgi Mihailovic. So this is where Omir Fernandez was having a hard time getting into the lineup, right? Because both Oliver Larraz and Georgi Mihailovic are playing very well. So. If we decide to play Georgie more central, then of course the first player to come out is going to be Oliver Larraz because he will probably be on the left hand side there. Um, and he'll be the one to come off, which he has been coming off for Omir Fernandez. Um, Watched him in DC and played really, really well up front. Yeah, you see, I'm not afraid to admit that this is dipping my toes very fresh into the MLS. Um, and I'm very excited to see players like this, like Kudi Petro play for us. We'll be surprised if Omir doesn't get to start against Vancouver. If you're around on Friday, KTK, I invite you if you have time, bro. Actually, I'll actually get with you a message, bro, to see if you could come by. Talk about the Whitecaps game coming up on Friday. I'm gonna do a preview for that, and I'm gonna do predicted lineups. We'll probably go through like a lineup builder and shit like that, and talk about what we can expect for that game. So yeah, I'll get with you, bro. Like I said, I know you're busy, homie. Um, so I should be available, my homie. So let's go. We have somewhat of a confirmation that it should be available. I'll reach out, my homie. I'll reach out. Um, but I agree with you. Depending on the formation we go with on the day, then yes, he should be getting some minutes. He's due some more minutes. Um, let's see here. The last 5 matches for the Pitties, he's gotten, and I'll just start off with our last match: a 7-8, a 6-5 against Portland, a 7-2 against the Quakes San Jose, which both of these games here in green on the right hand side would have been the games where he got the assist. And then we have a 6-3 against Austin, which was probably the lowest arguably the lowest performance of the season, and then the 6-6 performance there. Let's check out his stats from last season, shall we? Where the fuck was I? Oh, right here. Let's see what Omir offered the Rapids last season, and again, primarily out on the left hand side. So, like I kind of touched on earlier, if he's going to get the minutes, it's probably going to be out on the left. Um, Again, we do have options out for the right. Again, we've mentioned Cudi Pietro. Is he going to be out there on the right hand side? Calvin Harris, who we'll talk about, is a candidate for a shout. Um, you know, Stuart Baines, is he a candidate for the right out there? Yappy's been coming on to get some game time, but is he just a like for Rafa? Let's see. Omir here last season, 35 matches, 20 of which he started. Managed roughly 52 minutes a game, the average, of course. Two goals for Hoffa, had four expected goals, five big chances missed, goals from inside the box and goals from outside the box. Woo-wee. Winning penalties, won a couple penalties. Let's see what he brought to the table passing wise. 3 assists, which he's gonna fly by that. I feel like another one of these players, Omir. This is another one that I don't know if he's got too much to prove, Omir. You know what I mean? Because he hasn't really been given that big chance and failed at it. Is that fair to say? He hasn't really gotten that big leap and kind of stumbled on it. Played at Red Bulls, I do know that. Um, and now he's a Rapids player. So not necessarily a step down, nor is it like a leap up. So, but you should think Omer should be taking his opportunities this season and providing us comfortably anywhere from eight to 10 assists. If you know if we really want to be dominating teams, if we really want to be scoring goals, and we really want to, you know, say, hey, we're here to play some ball, then we're gonna need Omer to be getting assists or having shots from outside the box. Or having shots from outside of the box. Um, I'm going to compare Omir Fernandez with Calvin Harris. This is uh, last year. So they're both literally almost identical ratings. I know they play on opposite ends of opposite sides of the pitch. But the reason I want to look at this is because look, appearances 34 to 35. Um, Omer is edging out on some of these categories here. Goals 3 for Calvin Harris. Um, both on 3 assists last season. So just comparing Calvin Harris, just off of a rough comparison. Of course, this is just very, very vague. I probably would be bringing in Omir on the left hand side first, and then using Calvin Harris kind of as that maybe that second option to try and get things moving as an attacker. Um, and I think it's safe to say that that's probably where the Rapids lie as well, because we're trying to do a lot of this. Well, I say a lot. We're we're cognitive of the fact that that right hand side is the biggest issue I think that the Rapids have right now. Is the fact that we're not getting much creativity, much creation, much end product, and for that matter, even much buildup on the right hand side. Um, Kelvin Harris has the easier way into the team, if I'm honest with you, out of Omir Fernandez and Calvin. I think he gets the easier route in because, Cabral is not giving himself any justice. He's not giving himself any excuse to keep playing. And it kind of defaults to Calvin Harris. By the looks of it, we're not really going to be playing. It looks as though we don't like to play Omir on the right hand side. Although he does, don't get me wrong. You could tell here that he does get over on this side of the pitch, but it looks as though he's going to be, out and out on the left hand side there. So, just to wrap that up, I think Omir Fernandez has safe playing time because he's going to be producing, and he has been producing this season, as has Calvin Harris been producing as well. I mean, a goal contribution got us the victory in San Jose, so we could say that was a key time. But however, it also was due to the fact that Omir Fernandez sent in the cross to get the goal. So um, I'm looking for both of these players and the ones we've talked about, literally to just when you're called upon, hit the ground running, my homies, hit the ground running. Omir hasn't lived up to expectations, but has stepped up with the minutes that he's had, and that's just it, my homies. That's just it. I think for me, I wouldn't know where to place the expectations at with Omir Fernandez, just because, like I said, I don't really know what his ceiling is. I just know that like when we when we've been bringing on this substitute package, if you will, um, we've we've become a better team. I hate to say this. I also seen this on I think I heard this one was on the Pitcast, I think. Where do we have a Kevin problem? They said. Do the Rapids have a Kevin problem? He's on the pitch and we're not doing anything. He comes off the pitch and we start doing something. So um expect minutes from both of these players. Expect minutes on the wings now from we're seeing Cudi Petro in training. So it's only a matter of time until the youngster gets some game time. Only a matter of time. My homies was on the bench, was warming up. Um We're already at the hour mark, my homie. So I'm gonna just skip on to wrap it up. We'll talk about Sam Vines and Keegan and Ian Murphy. Sam Vines. The reason I want to talk about Sam Vines is because he is our left back. Um, when I look at our squad, if I'm thinking about a left back, I know Sam Vines is our left back. I know right now we've been playing Ian Murphy has been doing that. So has Reggie Cannon and has Keegan Rosenberry. But is this their natural position? Is this where they're going to be 100% comfortable playing? I know Sam Vines is comfortable playing there. That is his position. And that's the only reason why I do want to bring this up. This is his heat map from last season. Again, hasn't played a minute this season. Heavy, heavy, heavy on that touchline. In fact, when I watch Sam Vines, he's always hugging the touchline there. I know what I expect from Sam Vines. And let's just talk about that a little bit, my homies. What we seen from him last season were 29 matches in which he started 25 of them, averaged almost 80 minutes um, a game. Attacking wise, scored a goal for us. I don't remember what. That must have been a free kick, wasn't it? He was on set piece duty last season. As a matter of fact, my homies. Let me see here. Shooting. No, there's There's ways you can get a shot chart, but I know they do that for the game. Would be dope to see like a season long shot map. Um, let's go to his defending here, shall we? His passing. No assists last season. Bit of a shame. Two big chances created. Accurate passing, high numbers, not extremely high, but not anything alarmingly low. What the hell did I do? Um, I just know what he brings to the table. Whether it's enough or not, I have no idea. I just know that coach said he's the next one in line to get to come back. He's already been training for 2 weeks. So we need Sam's left foot. Yeah, like, and look, this will just play off to what we've been talking about all night, and what I talk about throughout the streams. Our buildup is on the left hand side there. So if we have a naturally left-footed, either wing back or fullback there to be able to send in the service to our players, it's only going to help us out, right? Only going to help us out. Again, I feel Sam Vines has a lot to prove. Last season, based on those numbers, look, he was consistent, my homies. Like I said, we knew what he was playing there. But again, we did have Jackson Travis who played some minutes there as well because Sam Vines did pick up some injuries as well. Keegan can play left, but struggles to provide the service, and that's just it, my homies. Keegan Rosenberry on the left-hand side will definitely be a workhorse. We'll play those. Play aggressively, intercept aggressively, play high press aggressively. And that's just right. He's kind of one-dimensional when it comes time to send in the service, because it's on his right foot. As to where Sam Vines, like we just said, a more naturally left-footed player, will send those in, no problem. So yeah, Sam Vines. I'm hoping Sam Vines has a breakout season this one as well, my homies. Another one of these players that tried to go to Europe. I say try, went to Europe and didn't have the most successful of spells. Excuse me, of spells, and probably is eager to show what he has. Like the stats really don't show too much for him. Um, but then again, like I almost feel as though like he's coming into a new system, and that's kind of a stretch to say. But like I feel like with the players that we've implemented into the team, coming back with new defenders on the side of you and players, the triangle with him is going to be different now because when Maxu is not there, it'll be Ian Murphy. It'll be Cheeto. It'll be players like Josh Atencio in front of him. These are all triangles that he hasn't really played with at all yet, only in training. So he's going to have to get used to playing basically what is kind of like a brand new system. Stefan has broke out this year, hoping Sammy does too. Yeah, Stefan has definitely reached a new gear, kind of just clicked into a new gear. And yeah, Zach Steffen gets massive praise on the channel because I mean, rightly so. But yeah, I think Sam Vines is gonna have it's gonna either be hit or miss, my homies. Either gonna be hit or miss. And like I just said, he's either gonna take to this system and play with these players and actually let that bring the best form out of him, or he's gonna shrink into a shell and not be as comfortable playing with these players. I would imagine, my homies. That's just based off of what I would expect. Can he hit the system running? No outstanding strengths, no outstanding weaknesses. Um, we know what to expect from him. That's fair. That's fair to say. Let's go with the last one of the night. I think we'll end up with Ian Murphy. And the reason I'm bringing Ian Murphy in as part of this um second batch of players, if you will, is because unfortunately for him, he's not an out and out, full-time starter, which is a shame because when he's in, we play good. We defend. We've played good with him in. Um, before well, let's take a look at what he's done for us this season, my homies. Let's look at what he's done. He's had positive performances. Not one of these performances is a bad one. 7-1, 6-7, 7-1, 6-5, and then a 7-0. Season heat map has played centrally for us in the backfield and has played out on the left hand side there. Versatility is what Ian is going to offer us, and I think that's a cheat code if you're Ian Murphy. You've got to feel comfortable knowing that you're either going to get these minutes playing center back or you're going to get minutes playing left back. Big up the pits. What's up, my boy? Nice to see you at the stadium. My homie, nice to see you too, bro. And thank you for joining the chat, homie. Thank you for being here. Say he was at his son swimming class. Let's go, my homie. I'm gonna, like I was telling KTK, we will be doing. I will be doing a show on Friday. Victor, you're more than welcome to come in and chill on Friday as well. I will post the links in the WhatsApp group and stuff like that, so that we can definitely make it happen. But I appreciate you joining the stream, my homie. Hope you're well. It was nice to see you. I ended up putting that. I got some footage of you as well, Victor, when you were holding up your scarf that says, what is it, Colorado versus everybody. So that ended up making its way into the video. Um, I posted my video, just a little side note. I posted my video like 3 days fucking late. And the reason being is, fuck, I think like uh, I'm my own worst enemy when it comes time to editing my videos because I try to I try to make it just smooth on through, but I also like I also like to challenge myself when I'm making them. So I like to insert things here and try different effects and just try different things. So it took me a while, and then I've had a couple of live streams throughout the time that have taken some time. But I finally did it, and I'm happy with the way it came out, honestly. So I will post it in the community section to my YouTube channel. In case anybody hasn't seen the video, you're more than welcome to check it out. Back to Ian Murphy. Again, positive performances from him. 5 matches to which he started 4 of those, averaging about 72 minutes a game. Attacking, I'm not even gonna go there because he hasn't. There's no attacking there. Um, Passing, let's talk about passing here because this is a key. This is key because we're trying the Hail Mary to Cabral a lot. We're trying to bypass sometimes the midfield and get to our attackers, to Hoffa. A lot of times we try to play the overhead ball into Hoffa Navarro, who can then, dink it onto one of the overlapping players. So it is important for your center backs to have accurate passing, especially as you see here in your own half. That's at a 90%. Accurate in opposing half. The Rapids are a team that's going to be playing a higher. I know Chris Armas has said it's a mid block. If you ask me, I call it just a high press. You know what I mean? But I mean, it is what it is. We play a bit of a higher line if that's the case. Uh, so you are gonna get position half, opposition half passing here. Long balls, 36%. Of course, they're not gonna be hitting 99 percenters every game. That's just how it is. But Ian Murphy has fucking taken to our team like a duck to water, my homies. Yeah, big up, my homie. Appreciate you, bro. You know what? YouTube's a tricky because when I release my Tottenham videos, it puts those in front of a lot of people. Impressions is what they're called. It'll put it in front of you. As to where I know my Rapids content is definitely a lot smaller audience. YouTube is just not YouTube takes its time to find where to push my video to. As to like sometimes when I release the match day vlogs for the Spurs content, um it's night and day difference. And it's I'm not complaining or nothing like that. I'm just saying I know that um a lot of times I try to post my videos and my stuff because um the algorithm is just not there for Rapids content, my homies. There is no algorithm for Rapids content. Um and I know that because my tags, and I say tags, my titles for my Rapids content, they challenge the Rapids. It's hard to explain, but like I'm able to draw enough impressions just like the Rapids do because um there's no algorithm, my homies, and this is what I don't understand. The Rapids could do a lot better job. They are doing a lot better job with their social media and with their YouTube. Their YouTube especially, I'm seeing tons of new content from the Rapids, but they're just not marketing it right. They're using tags like messy, just generic, blatant, obvious tags, and they don't need to do that because they're a big channel, right? The Rapids have, I think, like 13,000 subs. They're a big channel. How is it that my little channel can rival their channel? And it's because the algorithm. There is no algorithm for the Rapids content. So I always have to try and boost my content out there to try and get it out there. So I will take this opportunity to thank you guys for one being here, kicking it with me. But would you please like the stream if you haven't already? Because that will definitely help this be pushed to more people. Um, Again, there's plenty of MLS content out there, and we just I'm trying to do my part into just staying consistent and trying to get into that MLS algorithm to get more people into shows like this. But this is the start, my homies. So I appreciate the amount of support that I get from you guys watching the videos, because this is honestly just the start of it. This is just the start of it. This time next season, there's going to be more YouTube channels that are Rapids based, because there's going to be kids that see this. There'll be people that see this. You know what I mean? There's other podcasts already. The Pitcast that's doing their thing. We have the homie Jose who does stuff in Spanish. You know what I mean? So by interacting and by taking the initiative and doing stuff like this, we're kind of going to create our own algorithm and create our own wave of content. So yeah, my homies, I appreciate it. So I was kind of I was looking at Ian Murphy and Cheeto's stats from last season, and let's just go ahead and compare them. Let's go ahead and compare them right here. I know uh, they play somewhat similar positions. Talk about a fucking beast. Talk about a fucking beast. Chidozie, oh, a fucking beast. I don't even know how to pronounce the homie's name, but talk about a beast. And this is what we were talking about earlier, my homies. Exactly what we were Cheeto came in late in the season. When did Cheeto come in? Last season? I thought we got him this season. Or are you talking about to Cincinnati for them last season? Um but either way, like I talked earlier about the Rapids just being on it with their scouting and with their signings. Cheeto by far, arguably signing of the season so far, my homies. Sample size, but so far, um, I feel like they complement each other fucking perfectly. How in the hell were we able to get both of these players for as cheap as we got them? And look, they both again what we talked about earlier. have hit the ground running for this system. Let's go. I want to show their stats from last season. Um, Minutes played here. Cheeto did take it with 81. Um, but like, okay, so this is what the homie KTK was saying from Cincy. Yeah, okay. I just saw that both Cheeto and Ian form for 1 million. Yeah, we stole them, homie. We stole them, bro. We fucking straight stole them, bro. I'll take it. I'll take it. So, as KTK mentioned, Cheeto joined Cincy a bit later on in the season, and that's where he has the 800 the 800 minutes. So, 10 appearances as to where Ian had 31. Um, let's just jump down to their defending. Tackles, almost won a game. Dribble, pass, bullet clearances, 2.4 for Cheeto. Successful dribbles, ground duels 1, aerial duels 1. For some reason, when I look at this on my laptop, it's a lot more different than it is on the tablet. Also, he was playing in Portugal last year. You see, Cheeto can be used as that right back as well, left back for Ian, center back. I think that right here, my homies, along with Andreas Maxu and Reggie Cannon, and then you go and sprinkle in players like Sam Vines. Keegan Rosenberry is up there. How much longer will he be able to perform at the what am I looking for here? Like, how long can he continue to play up to the form that he's playing? Who knows, my homies? But eventually, we do need to start to think of something later on down the road, and just having a nice core back four. I guess five with Zach Steffen, which it just adds more comfort to um, what we have. I guess Padraig Smith shuts us up. I mean, we have accumulated GAM, but not no big spending. You see, I really don't know what the GAM is. I was reading about that. Not reading about it, but it was mentioned in what I was reading earlier. Um, but I know that the MLS is just fucking weird how they do their business, my homies. But the name that I did want to say was Padraig Smith, who has been doing bits for the Rapids um, as of late. As of late, my homies. Ian Murphy for me probably, and I saved him for last because he's been getting the most minutes out of what you could call this. And I kind of I don't even say it comfortably, but like this second tier of Rapids players, and I only say that because he's not getting the nod over Andreas Maxu, and he's just not getting it over Cheeto right now. Um, could he? Of course. Could he be starting over Andreas Maxu? Fuck yeah, he could be. Should he? I don't know, my homie, because Andreas Maxu himself is producing the minerals for the time being. So, that's just I guess a good problem to have, my homies. I guess that's a good problem to have. But I am gonna start wrapping up the show. We have been going for an hour and 23 minutes. Um, unless there's anything really the homies have anything to ask or to add to it. Again, I just wanted to kind of showcase a little bit, kind of just touch on pause. I wanted to just shed some light to some of these players that haven't really been getting the mention as they should here on the channel. Even players like Omir Fernandez, who has been somewhat of a super sub for us, doesn't really get the praise here on the channel. And just because I spend the majority of the time bigging up our starting 11. And one of the things that really got me thinking today was when I seen Coach Armas's YouTube stuff earlier where they did the media availability. He said how he's training this team, he's preparing this team for what could be a long season. Leagues Cup adds a fair amount of fixtures if you go deep into the run. Not only that, playoff time last season, we seen how we kind of just fizzled out at the end of the season. Even before we got to the playoffs, we kind of just, we did suffer some injuries and we did suffer some setbacks. Cole Bassett was out for the remainder of the season after some time, and we seen how our form dropped. We seen how everything after that kind of just went tits up. And we had a long season last year, my homies. We went deep into the Leagues Cup, which got us into the the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which we didn't advance. It's kind of a good thing because that would have just been added fixtures to what if I'm honest with you, I fancy us just taking advantage of what we have in front of us right now. Let's keep our head down, keep grinding away results. Going out on the road, we have a tough matchup this weekend against the Vancouver Whitecaps. We will be doing a show on Friday about that. But we just need to pick up results. We need to pick up points when we're playing these away games. I've said this plenty of times, and I will continue to repeat myself on this channel. When the Rapids play any team here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park, I fancy us to be able to beat them. So we need to perform on the road, pick up quality performances. Another big game from Omir Fernandez, possibly, if he's going to get the nod. We'll see, my homies, but it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a long season. Roster depth was a big issue last year with playing multiple tournaments. And we saw that, my homies. We kind of sacrificed the long-term outcome for the short-term gain, if that makes sense, which is the opposite of being mature, right? We kind of stuck all of our eggs in that Leagues Cup basket, which by all means, my homies, we kind of advanced. We beat the teams that we beat, and we were like, whoa, why not? Why not us? And we kept winning and we kept going. So I don't blame the Rapids for putting it all in the Leagues Cup basket. We definitely did. And that kind of we felt that towards the end of the season. You're absolutely right. Roster depth was key. I think this season, like we mentioned, we've brought in tons of quality, tons of players that are ready to go, plug and play, if you will, as to last season where we had players and now we got rid of Jasper Lawfulson. We've got rid of Lala Sububakar. We got rid of Bombito last season. But we've added massive quality on top of quantity. We seen, and KTK kind of said, too much in the midfield may be a problem, not a problem, but will we have to try and move players on? You know, yeah, I've said in other streams, what's going on in the midfield? Too many players right there taking up that space. So a good problem to have for Chris Armas, my homies. Again, long season. But we're gonna take it one game at a time, one stream at a time, my homies. Again, I appreciate you guys for stopping by, kicking it with the homie. This was another episode of Rapids with the homies, and yeah, we'll catch you guys on Friday, my homies. We'll catch you guys on Fridays. Not only is it come on, you Spurs, who play tomorrow against fucking Chelsea. Let's go, my homies. Let's go. You in here, you fucking filthy animal. Big yourself up, bro. Um, Not only is it come on, you fucking Spurs, but it's up the fucking Pids. I appreciate you guys for kicking it with me. Let's fucking go.